This week on For the Record.
Well, how am I supposed to eat and get food if I don't get my food share?
700,000 Wisconsinites rely on federal food assistance. But where does that program stand amid the government shutdown? What role did Wisconsin's Attorney General play in a federal ruling? And we sit down with Marquette Law School poll director Charles Franklin to talk about the latest statewide data.
70% hadn't made up their mind for the Republican candidate, and 81% of Democrats hadn't made up their mind.
What it tells us about the 2026 gubernatorial race. Plus, Wisconsin's version of C-SPAN is facing funding challenges. We sit down with the president of Wisconsin Eye to talk about transparency and access at the state capitol. That's all coming up this morning.
We now present For the Record.
Welcome to For the Record. I'm Ellie La Liberté. Throughout this past week, people who rely on federal food assistance have been bracing for a pause in their benefits. But on Friday, 2 federal judges ruled that the Trump administration must continue to fund SNAP, the nation's biggest food aid program, using contingency funds during the government shutdown. 25 states sued after the Trump administration said it wasn't allowed to use a contingency fund of about $5 billion for the program during the shutdown. That reversed a USDA plan before the shutdown that said money would be tapped to keep SNAP funded. 700,000 people in Wisconsin rely on SNAP benefits, known here as food share, to feed themselves and their families. In Dane County, that's about 64,000 people. And although the ruling is a win for Call, he says it doesn't solve all the problems food share recipients are facing.
We want to see relief as quickly as possible. But already, even before this lawsuit was filed, the process in place for preparing for SNAP benefits for November is behind schedule. And so what that impact will be remains to be seen. But the sooner we can get benefits to people, the better.
We've also received a statement from the governor about the food share lawsuits. In it, the governor says people on food share still will not receive benefits. The governor says, quote, while we wait to see if the Trump administration will follow court orders and the law and do the right thing, here in Wisconsin, we must continue to prepare for the worst. And in preparation for a pause in food share, pantries across our area braced for impact. The River Food Pantry on Madison's north side saw its second busiest day ever this week, serving nearly 500 families and over 900 meals on Tuesday.
I get full benefits, and well, how am I supposed to eat and get food if I don't get my food share, my EBT?
The government shutdown is also putting child care services in southwestern Wisconsin at risk. The Southwestern Wisconsin Community Action Program is closing its 9 preschool Headstart classrooms that serve 5 counties on Monday. Staff tell me it's a lifeline cut short. Becky Logue sees herself in the families she serves.
I was one of these kids as a kid, and so I want to make that difference. I want to be the person that I needed at that age.
So for the past 5 years, she's been a preschool teacher for Headstart in Boscobel, helping low-income families get access to childcare and food. But when she found out the 19 kids in her classroom won't be returning next week,
It was heavy. It was really heavy. They don't all have good living conditions at home, so who knows what's gonna happen.
the grant that supports 145 preschool-aged children in Iowa, Lafayette, Grant, Greene, and Richland counties won't be renewed when scheduled, leaving Southwestern Wisconsin Community Action Program out $3 million.
Without a federal budget passed through the federal government, they're not able to fund that particular grant.
Headstart Director Tani Hardiman says she's also worried about a snowball effect.
Many of those families also qualify for SNAP benefits, which are now also cut. So we really, really worry about children having enough food at home. Are working parents going to be able to continue working?
Logue, along with 33 of her colleagues, will be furloughed when doors close on Monday.
I personally have 6 kids at home. My husband does work, but it's not enough to feed 6 kids and pay the bills. So, I mean, we will be able to get unemployment, but that doesn't feed a family.
But it's not just her own family she's worried about.
One of my classes is only Monday, Wednesday, and so when those kids left Monday, I don't know when I'm going to see him again.
Southwest CAP is one of 134 Headstart programs nationwide and one of 2 in Wisconsin that will be directly affected by the shutdown. And even if a deal is reached in Washington soon, staff tell me it could still take weeks to get the assistance they need to be approved. And Governor Tony Evers is warning Wisconsinites that Affordable Care Act premiums will skyrocket in 2026 if the government does not extend the tax credits that are set to expire at the end of the year. The ACA tax credits are at the center of the shutdown. Democrats saying they won't pass a funding bill to reopen the government without that extension. Meanwhile, Republicans want to discuss subsidies after the government is back open. Governor Evers says interest rates for some covered through Wisconsin's ACA program could increase by up to 800% next year unless Congress extends the credits. According to the governor's office, in Dane County, a 26-year-old will see premiums increase by more than $1,500 annually. A 60-year-old couple could see their premiums go up by almost $20,000, and a family of 4 could see a $12,500 increase. After a nearly month-long halt, Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin will begin offering abortions again. The announcement came on Monday. It means that all 24 centers across the state will be providing the procedure again. In Madison, there are 2 locations, Madison South Health Center and Madison East Health Center. PPWI also made a point to mention they'll continue serving Medicaid patients. State law allows abortion for up to 20 weeks into pregnancy. On Friday, a Wisconsin judge put a pause on his ruling that requires election officials to verify the citizenship of all 3.6 million registered voters in Wisconsin before the next statewide election in February. But it now seems unlikely that the case will be resolved before the spring elections and may stay in limbo beyond the 2026 midterm elections. Wisconsin is now the 36th state to limit cell phones and other electronic devices in schools. Friday, Governor Evers signed a bill requiring districts to prohibit phone use during class time. The measure passed with bipartisan support, though some Democrats in the legislature said gun control should be a higher priority than banning cell phones. The bill will require public schools to adopt a policy prohibiting the use of phones during class by July 1st. There will be exceptions for emergencies. And a GOP proposed bill will require vehicle registration fees, known as wheel tax, to be approved by voters and not governing bodies. The bill would have voters reauthorize city and county taxes at least every 2 years. The money from wheel taxes can be used for funding infrastructure projects. In Madison, the wheel tax supported the city's bus rapid transit system. According to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, 53 municipalities and 14 counties currently impose a wheel tax. Also introduced a bill that would require some reckless drivers to have a speed limiter device in their car for a year. Under the bill, if a person is convicted of a second reckless driving violation in a 5-year period, going 20 miles per hour over the speed limit or more, they could have the device installed. It also requires the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to implement a program to install the devices. The governor's sweeping plan to overhaul the state's aging prisons will move forward. A bipartisan subcommittee of the State Building Commission approved releasing $15 million for the plan, despite objection from some Republicans. The plan seeks to address ongoing problems at the state's prisons, which have included inmate deaths, assaults against staff, investigations, and rising maintenance costs. The state's oldest prison in Waupun will be converted from a maximum security prison to a medium security center focused on job training. In total, the plan would reduce overall capacity of the state's prison system by 700 beds, something Republicans oppose. And next on For the Record, a new Marquette Law School poll gives us a look at the latest in name recognition for the 2026 gubernatorial candidates. Find out who leads the pack when we come back.